The reason why I think a lot of men are lonely today is because of the lack of support systems. I speak from firsthand experience when I say that the lack of support in a community is really what has, I feel like, overall harmed us as men overall. And before anyone says anything, I know there's going to be people that deny it or say they don't they're not going through that, or they I mean, and I'm not being sarcastic when I say this, but I mean that's good for you. That's if you're able to navigate in this landscape, then um one hell of an achievement. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get that out there as get that out there in the beginning as a disclaimer. But I think overall in society, men are in this interesting place, and I don't mean in a good way, but we're definitely in an interesting place where, like I said, we don't have support. There's really no avenues for us to even get support. The type of advice that we get is the same typical virtue signaling type of trope that on paper sounds correct, because it sounds right, but in practical application, it doesn't really work for a good chunk of us men. And I'll give you an example. When you vent out your problems online, a lot of people say go to activity groups, go to meetups, meet people. And again, like I said, on paper, that is the correct thing to say. Not just the correct thing to say, but it's correct. Like I agree, like that. Those are, by the way, those are things that I've tried, and I'll get into that. But here's the problem with, or one of the problems with that advice is that it's like a catch-22, almost like same with dating apps, but that'd probably be for a future video. It's not about dating or dating apps, but I'm just saying like it's in the same kind of the way it applies is kind of similar in the sense that just like a lot of people who uh would have success on dating apps don't even really go on dating apps. They have enough success in real life. And it's kind of the same thing with these meetup groups is that the people who don't the people who don't the people who really need it, they're not they don't have a lot of success in that setting. But the people that would have a lot of success don't need to go, so they don't go. Just like a lot of people who, like I said, this isn't about dating, I'm just using examples, but you know how like a lot of people go, oh, like, you know how like people will be like, oh, there's not a lot of men in singles mixers and stuff like that. It's because the men that would have success in these events, um, they're not going. They don't need to go. They don't need it. So they don't, I mean, like I said, so they don't go. But the men who do need it, or the people who do need that community in that environment to thrive, we don't do well. And I'll now get into that point. The reason why, at least I believe, and I could be wrong, but the reason why I believe that we don't do very well in that setting, even though like we should, there's a couple of reasons. And I've like said this to myself and had conversations before. And I finally get to express it on camera. But one of the main reasons why I think so is that um a lot of people who go, they're very, I don't want to say antisocial, but they're going because they have trouble socializing. So what ends up happening is you're around a bunch of people that don't know how to socialize, that are jaded, very guarded, possible and most likely just there for that activity, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Um, but a lot of times, um, what ends up happening is the you just end up being in an environment where you're surrounded by people that either don't know how to socialize or they don't have the openness to socialize properly. So now you're just in an environment where on paper you're seeing a bunch of people, but it's not very sociable, and it's not something that's, even when the event itself goes great. Like one time I went to a hiking event, And in the moment, it went fine, but there was really no connections that really stayed. That kind of where, like, outside of that activity, there was a deeper connection that happened where we're gonna hang out outside of here, and we're gonna hit each other up, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? So that's where I feel like those type of advice fall short. You know what I mean? And again, people, you comment down below what you if you guys have been to those type of events or places and how it went. But for me, haven't been able to have any luck. And it's also very location based too, where I'm at, and I'm in a regular area, like mixed kind of area, demographic, but it's still it's pretty slow, you know? And the reason, like I said, this isn't about dating or this isn't about even activity groups. I just only brought that up to the main overarching point, which is that men today in modern society don't have avenues and outlets to um, find community, you know? So I feel like this is why a lot of men end up shelling up to themselves. And I know a lot of men claim they like being alone, they want their peace, and peace is one thing, but we're also social mammals. We need that interaction with people, especially if you're not going to school anymore, if you're just going to work and then coming back home, or if you're unemployed like myself, and you're just pretty much home most of the day. I mean, you might be playing some video games. You know, I exercise on the regular, but and people also say that helps, but that doesn't. That's like a band-aid. I mean, you feel good for for an hour, your endorphins rush, but you're not really. It doesn't last. Like it's like a high. Like it doesn't. I mean, you got to exercise again. You're not going to exercise all day long to keep feeling that. So my point is that there is really no healthy, at least, outlet for us men in a community that will allow us to express ourselves fully and unconditionally with other people in similar situations. The thing that I found that's another catch 22 is other people in similar situations that would want to be in, that would want to deep down connect with other people, is that they've been hurt so many times and played and flaked and ghosted that they're out the way and they just do their own thing, which is this is why I have a weird like relationship with that train of thought, because on one hand I respect it. I mean, I borderline am kind of in that mindset sometimes, but on the other hand it sucks, you know. It's frustrating because a lot of people have the right to feel that way and navigate like that because they've been hurt. We don't trust each other like that. Like I said in my previous video, if you guys haven't checked that out, go to my channel, subscribe, like, comment, and also check out that video. But yeah, so I just feel like because of the low trust level in each other in general, that's another reason for the lack of community. That's why people are very jaded, closed off. They do just want to work, come home, play video games, and go to sleep and do it all over again. And yeah, that's what's frustrating. It's frustrating because they have every right to feel that way. It's not like it's ridiculous to like for it to have gotten to that point, but it just sucks because that natural connection after school, after high school, after college, and I didn't go to college, but after that age, it's a wrap. That natural just it happening out of nowhere, like yeah, that's over. Them days are gone. Okay, them days are gone. You could call me a pessimist. You could say I'm being negative, and that's why. No, like that's just the reality of the situation. After that, it's not that it's impossible, but it feels impossible. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans are just built on feels and emotions. And I'm not saying we should operate on emotions, but that's kind of just what it is. And it really does feel genuinely 100% impossible to make that organic, natural connection that just builds and y'all become best friends or you end up dating or whatever. Just human to human, peer to peer social dynamics, you know? And like I said in the beginning of the video, I feel like maybe there's going to be a few people that either disagree or say that I'm having a complete opposite experience. But from what I've learned, I mean, exceptions don't make the rule, and it seems like there is an overarching trend and a pattern where a lot of people, particularly men, have a hard time, and that's another thing. I'll get into it deeper in another video, but I'll end with this because this video is getting super long. But is that a lot of men are blamed, saying that as if we don't socialize because we don't want to, and we don't know how to communicate, and it's like our fault, like victim blaming. No, a lot of men who have checked out and don't even try anymore, they have tried a lot, and they failed and failed and failed and failed and failed until they just said, screw it, I'm done, I'm hanging it up, and I'm calling it a day. I'm just gonna do my job, go home, and you know what I'm saying? Hug my dog, play some video games, eat some food, drink a beer, and go to sleep. It's not the fairy tale life, but a lot of men like have been sort of been training their minds to be content with that, because it's either that or go insane. Or go straight insane, you know? And men live lives of quiet desperation, and that is absolutely a fact. A lot of men live lives of quiet desperation. If people knew the hurt inside of me, they would want to lock me up in some kind of place. You know what I'm saying? But we hold it in. I hold it in, and I don't talk to anybody. I mind my business, and but at the end of the day, there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of isolation. There's a lot of misconceptions, especially on social media with this, especially demonizing certain groups of people, and it's just it's all bad, man. It's all bad. But that's all I got for now. I forgot to say this in the first video, but because I didn't realize I would have, I honestly, like, I got low views at first, so I just chalked it up to like, oh, I didn't do anything. So I kind of forgot to, but make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because the first video, like, it did way better than I ever expected. I mean, the engagement in the comments, like, that's the most comments I've ever got in my life. I mean, so maybe I should continue doing this. Again, I appreciate y'all for watching my video, and you know, yeah, look out for the next one. I'll be uploading consistently, and I'm just trying to do this as my own little thing, and yeah, thank you.